It's PMWC 2025, day 2 of the group stage. 4 tribes are dominating the leaderboard, holding on to the first place with a solid 25 points lead over TRX. At this point, they are looking absolutely unbeatable. But then comes a team ready to challenge their throne, Alter Ego Ares. With back-to-back chicken dinners, they drop a massive 77 points in just 5 games. In today's video, we'll be breaking down match 4 of day 2, where Alter Ego showed us exactly how smart, tactical and disciplined rotations are done. The flight path goes from Stalber to Primorsk. Alter Ego takes that drop split, and the first thing they do is grab vehicles from the areas around shelter and then split up for the looting phase. Krypton loots up around the shelter areas, Rosemary loots up prison, Alva goes towards mansion, and Moana takes Lipovka. The circle forms and it favors the northern part of the map. Now looking at this circle, the first thing which will come to our minds is confusion. Yep, which side of the river is it gonna shift towards? It can go either way. So in these situations, getting hold of areas near the bridges will make the game a lot more easier. But to do that, giving an early rotation is a must. Because of course, most of the teams will be looking to do the exact same thing. So Alter Ego doesn't waste much time looting. They grab whatever loot they could get and then begin their rotation by 4 minutes into the game. Now before we move forward, let's have a look at the bridge options which Alter Ego has right now. The western side bridges of Georgopol is not an option for them as of now, because Alter Ego will have to literally cross to the entire opposite side of the circle. And most of the teams will be giving their rotations right now, so the chances are massively high that they might get into a rotational clash. So these two bridges are not an option yet. It remains this area and these bridges. That's their only option. So Krypton plays scout. He drives ahead to gather information. And if a decent area near the bridge is vacant, he'll take control of it instantly. And then the rest of his team will join. But things doesn't always go according to the plan. Krypton spots the vehicles of Influence Rage wandering around the Yasnaya bridge. He also spots the players of Regnum Kaya on the other side, and he spots Ida rotating from Stalber, heading straight towards the bridge. Absolute chaos is about to unfold around these areas, but most importantly, it also cancels Alter Ego's plans to play around the bridges. So what's the next plan? Simple. Back off. This plan didn't work, and Alter Ego doesn't have a clear alternative plan as of now. So it's the best to go passive. They know Ida is the only team who dropped Stalber, and they saw them rotating out of there, and Stalber is still inside the circle. So for now, Alter Ego grabs it. But the next circle takes a hard shift, favoring the southern side of the mainland river. Something which Alter Ego didn't expect it, didn't wish for. Now they are out of the circle and they need to move in. But they can't enter the circle directly from the northern side. They had already seen teams holding out there during their rotation towards Stalber. And let's say even if they somehow manage to get into the circle and try to hold the edge, they'll have 4 tribes behind them, and most probably a couple of teams in front of them as well. Alter Ego will be pinned, they'll be sandwiched, and they'll be wiped. Simple as that. So what's the plan? How can Alter Ego get into the circle without losing their players? Well, the answer is by rotating south and getting into the circle from the southern side. In these type of circles where the river divides it from the center, cutting it into 2 sections, teams usually prefer to play around the bridges and shoreline compounds. So in this case, there's a quite high probability that the southern edge will be clear. So Alter Ego decides to rotate south, even if it means taking a bit of blue zone damage, and try to enter the circle from that side. Basically, the plan is to enter the circle from the side farthest from the river, minimizing the chances of running into a gatekeeping team. But as soon as they begin their rotation, they notice the entire team of Ida moving exactly parallel to them. Maybe they are executing the same plan as Alter Ego. Rosemary and Darkin mid-rotation jump out of their vehicles and start firing at each other. Rosemary lands his shots better, knocking Darkin out. Krypton then follows up, jumps out, confirms the knock, and Alter Ego continue their rotation. The blue zone is right behind them, so they gradually keep closing into the edge of the circle, while still moving south. Alva moves in to quickly scout the ridge, while Moana heads towards the compound to check it out. If they can get this entire area, it'll be a decent spot to hold on to for now. Alva finds the ridge completely clear, but the compound Moana went to scout gets instantly slammed by the entire squad of Thundertalk. Luckily, Moana was still in his vehicle, so he managed to move away and regroup with his team. Now the ridge Alva had scouted is of no use. Holding that ridge without controlling this compound is always a bad call, at least for me. You either take both or you take none. Period. Alter Ego now either have to take on Thundertalk and try getting this compound, or they move on further south towards the Potato Hill. And they chose the first option. Thundertalk will have to either leave this compound or they'll die protecting it. And to prove his point, Rosemary spots IJ, knocks him out and confirms him within a blink. The entire team of Alter Ego now prepares to charge, but Krypton suddenly intervenes. We need to get out of here now. Krypton hears the sound of vehicles up the ridge. It's a different team, waiting to do a third party as soon as they slam onto Thundertalk. So Alter Ego decides to back off. They already got the elimination of IJ out here, so there's no need to force a fight. Meanwhile, the third circle has formed, and now it's almost certain that the game will end somewhere near Rozhok and school, or out in the open fields filled with outcrops. So Alter Ego's initial plan of entering the circle from the south is still in play. But now the problem is, GameX is holding the ridge, and that's the only path to move south. Unless they decide to fully dip into the blue zone, take the damage, swing around through Pochinki and enter from there. And surprisingly, they do exactly that. They move into the blue zone and execute the plan. But here's where things get spicy. GameX saw Alter Ego moving into the blue zone, and it's not like they are doing this thing to never return back. They are not gonna stay inside the blue zone forever. They'll eventually have to enter the circle, and they definitely have a plan for it. But the problem is, the plan which Alter Ego is executing right now, that's to get inside the circle from Pochinki, is extremely predictable. They have no other option. They went into the blue zone to avoid GameX, taking the long rotation towards Pochinki and planned to enter the circle from there. GameX knows it. They are well aware that Alter Ego will eventually try to come in from this side. So GameX, without wasting any time, drives straight to that side and sets up to gatekeep Alter Ego's entry. Alter Ego on the other side doesn't even know that their master plan, which has a big loophole of being extremely predictable, has already been countered by GameX. The players of GameX are excited. They know they made the right call. Alter Ego must be here anytime now. Arthur took his shots too early and now it backfires. Krypton takes his shots and knocks Arthur out. Alva finds an angle on Apkrino and takes him down as well. In a matter of seconds, GameX are down to 2 players. Huge blunder by them. Top from the other side confirms Apkrino and steals the elimination, but Alter Ego still manages to secure the elim point on Arthur. GameX, now being 2 players alive, decided to back off to the compound, but Alter Ego won't let them breathe now. They slam straight away.
And this is a great position to just slow down, to stall this fight out for Alter Ego. They were taking quite a lot of damage from the blue zone. They needed to heal up before going for the next leg of this rotation, but now they feel nice and healthy, and they're on the road again. A crossfire potential coming on through, but Alter Ego look to hop out and go for the challenge. They've isolated another player from GameX, and they're just leaving players behind. They're bleeding out, and they're on 2 now. It's not looking good. This is, again, just indecisive, floundering play. The nade connects, though.
Nade connects, but how much is it really going to help when you only have 2 players? And Alter Ego's not a team to back out. They've had a wonderful day so far. This is game 4 officially for them. They still have all of tomorrow's competition. But Chrono's gonna be wrapping around right, but it doesn't pay off. Krypton takes him right down.
The last player of GameX, Fahita, was holding an outcrop behind the compound, so he managed to flee from the area. But Rosemary isn't one of those who will let him run so easily, so the chase begins. Rosemary and Krypton follows Fahita to hunt him down. Fahita sees it, so he keeps moving central into the circle, eventually crashing onto the entire squad of Alpha Gaming. Alter Ego here are now playing as a 2-2 split. Rosemary and Krypton holding out the ridge, Moana and Alva holding the compound. Now while all these rotations and fights were going on, the 5th phase has already begun, and this time, it favored Alter Ego. Both the compound and the ridge they were holding at is inside the circle. Yes, they are not central yet, but at least they have got the time now to gather the information of the activities going on in the circle. But Intense Gaming, who are now outside the circle and holding Water City, also wanted control of the ridge that Rosemary and Krypton were holding. So Rafa and Pedrino drive up the ridge to initiate the fight, with a solid cover from Adrian and Silence holding the backline. Now here, Rosemary and Krypton could take the fight instead of retreating because they are being covered as well by Moana and Alva. But what worries them is Alpha Gaming, who are holding the warehouse. They'll definitely hear the gunshots once the battle breaks out. And if they decide to third party, Rosemary and Krypton will be entirely exposed to them. So the smarter call for them now is to fall back from the ridge and give it up to Intense Gaming. So Rosemary and Krypton drives back to the compound. Krypton holds an outcrop near the compound to counter a slam from Intense Gaming if they are planning to do so. Now the next circle forms, and this time too, it favors Alter Ego. The compound they were holding at is still in, right at the southern edge of the circle. But the next shift is guaranteed to leave the compound, so Alter Ego needs to plan out the next move ASAP. Which way are they gonna rotate? Should they rotate north and take on Intense Gaming with the risk of being exposed to Alpha Gaming? Or should they slam straight into the compound Thundertalk are holding at? They have no clear info on how many players or teams are inside, so that's a huge risk as well. Or should they slam straight into the warehouse and take a fight with Alpha Gaming, with the risk of Intense Gaming and Thundertalk third-partying them? All these options are extremely risky and extremely desperate moves, unorganized and chaotic. And to be honest, many teams will go for one of these options and will end up either being eliminated entirely, or even if they survive, they'll survive as a duo or a solo, which takes away their chances to dominate the match. But Alter Ego doesn't go for any of these options. They take it slow and calculated. They hold their position for a while, fully locked in, waiting for any small opportunity that could help them make their next move. And they get rewarded with one. Alter Ego spot the entire team of R8 drive down the ridge and slam straight onto Thundertalk. That's their chance to get in. But they don't get overexcited. Slow and calculated, remember? Alva drives up the ridge, looking for angles to steal a few eliminations, while on the other side, Krypton pushes towards Intense Gaming's position to check if they are still holding in. If not, he could have tried to find some angles towards the compound. But unfortunately, he spots Adrian still holding the spot, so he quickly falls back and regroups with his team. Rosemary and Moana stay locked on the elimination feed, trying to keep track of which teams and players will still be alive after the ongoing fights. Here R8 wipes out Thundertalk with some help from Alpha Gaming, and then Alpha Gaming turns around and clears the remaining players of R8, taking full control of the entire compound. And now, Alter Ego makes their move. All 4 players slam straight into the compound, wasting no time. Alpha Gaming saw them arriving and they decide to regroup on the warehouse side of the compound. Alter Ego are now inside the circle, holding a solid compound with plenty of hard cover to work with. But just when things started to look under control, the circle shift happens, and it makes the game complicated again. The squad house, which is a major building in the compound, is no longer in the circle. And to make things even worse, Top knocks out Moana. But then, Rosemary goes absolutely insane. He grabs a nade, locks it towards Top, boom, knocked. He instantly turns around, spots Reefers sneaking up on him, knocked and confirmed in a blink. He then locks eyes on Noki inside the warehouse. Bang, another knock. 3 back-to-back knocks in just a matter of seconds.
They are exceeding everybody's standards as far as I'm concerned. We see a replay on today, a fight between Alter Egos and APG, and it was Rosemary up top just putting in work, not only on the faraway members from APG, but also for Thrives. That was the down.
Absolute madness from Rosemary. But more importantly, because of his consecutive knocks, his teammates got the time to cross to the other side and hold up this ridge. Now the next shift happens and the compound entirely goes out of the circle. But that doesn't matter because Alter Ego now have a good ridge to play with. Yes, Rosemary was knocked while he was trying to regroup with his team, but he couldn't be confirmed, and he reached his team safely. But this next circle shift is what makes the game complicated again. The entire team of Alter Ego are out of it this time. The double story and the warehouse where Alpha Gaming and 4 Thrives are holding at was out of the circle as well. So trying to clear out these 2 teams and then entering into the circle through the warehouse doesn't make sense. Risking a win for a few more eliminations isn't worth it, especially when they have an option to try something through the northern side of the circle. And Alter Ego do exactly that. They noticed Fireflux had a fight with a team a little while ago. They read the kill feed, so they know that Fireflux doesn't have all 4 players alive. Plus they have a good outcrop to play with as well, and they are inside the circle. So Rosemary stays behind to provide the cover fire, while the rest of his teammates slam onto Fireflux.
And now Alter Ego, having not taken the option to dive on into the fight, will not get third party, they won't get embroiled in the compound engagement. They have the outside control. They have the numbers, they have the terrain, and the circle has pushed away from both of the hard covers. Over to Fireflux, this is the other stronghold position as Krypton diverts, goes for a drive-by, back into the driver's seat, doesn't quite connect on the shots, but down go Fireflux. They lose 1 on the knock, but they have full control on the outside now, and neither of the 2 other teams can take a challenge. They can't leave whilst the other survives.
Wow, look at how active Alter Egos are getting. They are taking the fight to everybody, and they are winning. Rosemary once again on your screen, putting in the work.
Now this game is pretty much over. 4 Thrives and Alpha Gaming needs to enter the circle, while Alter Ego just needs to gatekeep.
Demise for now. They do still have an opportunity to get a little bit further here. We've seen what duos can do, but with the chokehold that Alter Ego have on this circle, I don't imagine it's going to last for that long.
Not at all, and man, I'm so impressed with Alter Egos, the amount of pressure, not only with their utility, but also taking the moment and shining through it. Alter Egos mowing down 4 Thrives. They took down 1 earlier, they get the finish on them, and now it's APG versus Alter Egos, and Rosemary, who else? The tip of the spear, pushing forward, looking to take down APG, take game number 4, and they will do exactly that.
A beautiful chicken dinner coming through from Alter Ego. They rotate around the outside. They pen in the fight. They extract value. They get 13 eliminations on the match and 23 points to add to their tally. They are the top of their group and they are on top of the world right now. A happy bunch of lads they are.